Hi everyone, welcome back to the Pokey Podcast, the number one podcast for the collectibles. I'm Pokey Chloe.
I'm Pokey Dean.
And today we have our first in-person guest. We have got Sam from Chibi Collectibles. Welcome, thank you for being here.
Yeah, not a problem.
Sam has come a long way, all the way down from Liverpool for this episode. And basically today we're going to talk a little bit about Sam, his involvement with the hobby, what you sort of do, your business, etc. Get to know you, as we want this to be a fairly big guest-based podcast. We've already had a couple of guests on, but you have the honour of being the first one here.
I know, it is a pleasure.
In person. So yeah, thank you very much for being here. Would you like to introduce yourselves and let everyone know who you are?
So like Chloe just said, I am Sam from Chibi Collectibles. I have a Pokemon business. I run it full time. I have done for the last about 7 or 8 months, so I quit my full-time job. So Pokemon wise, I started collecting, in the Watsy days. When I was about 10, 11, I collected a lot of base set, a lot of jungle, a lot of fossil, and then I kind of grew out of it, like most of us
people have done that.
Yeah, but then I kind of got back into it in the early 2012s.
Right.
And
oh wow!
I found my old collections and started piecing them together. So into base sets, completed them. Into fossil, completed them. Into jungles, completed them. I went out of hobby a little bit again. And then in 2014, 2015, I got back into it properly. I met my partner. She was into Pokemon. So we kind of clicked, and that was our little thing to do together.
Oh,
so
nice.
We've been collecting near enough ever since. We have a few breaks here and there, but ever since 2014, really.
And then you say you've now turned it into a business.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to quit your full-time job?
It was a hard decision, and not a hard decision.
Yeah.
I studied to be a graphic designer. I did a master's degree. I got my normal degree. I got a teaching degree. I did it for 4 years in a studio. And could I see myself doing it in 10 years' time? No. And what did I enjoy doing? Pokemon. Yeah. So I thought, why not? Why not give it a go? So that's what I did. Luckily, I've had the knowledge and the know-how, and I've done it previously, just not on a big scale.
Yeah.
But I just thought, why not give it a go and see how it's going? And so far, we're say 7 or 8 months in, and
so far, so
it's
good.
it's really good. It's really
and like
good.
you say, you've been in it for quite a few years now, so you have that knowledge.
Yeah.
You're sort of comfortable with doing everything, and like you say, it's better to do something you enjoy rather than just
something you don't
slave away at something that you don't like doing.
Definitely.
So with regards to collecting, so when you got back into the hobby, do you still enjoy collecting? What sort of brought you back into it, or has your taste changed over time, or sort of where are you now with everything?
Well, 2014, 15 was the start of black and white, and Pokemon was like really quiet back then.
Yeah.
And I kind of compare it to when I got back in say 2020 and near the hype.
Yeah.
I used to be able to walk into games, walk into Argoses, walk into any toy store, and there'd be Pokemon products and no one would ever buy them.
Yeah.
And they'd be on the shelves for months and months. So
collecting dust.
Yeah, collecting dust. Nobody collected it, and it's just until Pokemon Go come out, I think 2016.
Yeah.
There was a little bit more of a kind of hype around it, but not as much as it was. So we managed to pick up like things and tins and booster boxes that nowadays are thousands of pounds. Collection wise now, I'm on an art academy. We'll go into art academy.
I was gonna say we'll talk about that in a
My collection goals are mainly art academies. That's something I do with my partner, and we have done since 2016. Otherwise, it's more business orientated for myself.
Yeah.
But again, I love collecting cards, and I love getting new and exciting cards in that I've not seen, especially like the EX eras.
Yeah.
Gold stars are a bit of a fan favourite for me.
Yes.
We'll go through them.
You have quite an impressive collection.
But yeah, I like collecting modern stuff, and the alt arts is something that kind of grabbed me a little bit back in.
Yeah.
Whereas I wasn't so keen, like the rainbows, even Sun and Moon didn't grab me. But the alt arts is something I go, if I was going to open packs today, that's what I'd kind of hunt for.
That was what would draw you in. And your collection in particular, obviously we sort of know a bit about it, is very impressive, like you said, the gold stars, etc. But a lot of your collection is raw.
Yep.
So what is there any reason behind that? Is there a reason you haven't gone and got everything graded? Is it more like when you said, we spoke about this a bit earlier, when you got into the hobbies those years ago, grading wasn't as wild maybe as it is now?
Yeah, it wasn't as... Not many people did it in the hobby. There was a few people, but they used to grade for you know, PSA 10 sets of base set or first edition base set, like PSA 10 gold stars were a big thing, and no one really graded anything that was, I say mediocre is a bit harsh, but anything that was like middle of the range.
Maybe
It
less
was all,
valuable.
it was all like high end things, all for like collection goals.
Yeah.
Whereas I liked the raw cards, is what I collected as a kid. And don't get me wrong, vintage PSA slabs I get along with. It's just the modern stuff I'm not super keen on.
Yeah.
I don't see not the reason behind it, but I don't see the fascination of doing it. I think it was something that was pushed into a lot of collectors during like the hype, and it was just how newer collectors thought that's how you should be in the hobby, when collecting raw is just as good, and that's what I enjoy.
Yeah, I feel like everyone is quite opinionated about whether you've got a raw collection or a PSA graded collection. Do you think you'll grade with or not necessarily a PSA, but do you think you'll get into grading a bit more, or do you quite comfortable with? For
personal collections, bits and bobs, what collection I already have, and maybe, you know, it'd be worth grading just to see what I've got.
Yeah.
For the business, yes, because grading's a big chunk of money in the business, especially when you pick up like raw cards from like your EX era.
Yeah.
You know, your black and white, some of them are really hard to get graded because of the print quality.
Yeah, of course.
I understand then why, because the value is that extreme from a PSA 10 to a raw card.
Yeah.
It's well worth it. Whereas, you know, I'm not going to go around and start grading level X's. Oh.
You might do.
X's.
V's and stuff like that. It's just I don't see the point in it. I don't see the point.
No, I understand.
I think also though it's the age we live in. Grading now is also a verification.
Yeah.
So if you're buying a really expensive card, like you said, from maybe the EX era or even WotC, you want to know that you're buying a real card, and having a graded slab is like definitely the like validation for it. But one thing that really interests me as well is the fact that I think you're like the first person I know who was collecting before 2016. I don't know many people that kind of was doing it before. And what really interests me is that when you were collecting back then, obviously there was no way near as much of a demand as there was when the boom happened. Were you picking up cards to sell them to people, or was it more just like you wanted it for your collection? Because obviously now people try and pick up cards because they know that this card is really valuable. A lot of people want it because people are getting back into it. Back then, there was no way near as much spotlight. So what was the main kind of purpose for picking up cards back then?
I think the main purpose was a lot of enjoyment, but what I tend to do and my partners tend to do, we'd buy like little collections, but on the smaller scale, like £100, £200 back then. You could pick up collections that in today's market at 2,000, 3,000. So we'd basically pick out what we wanted, or bits we were missing for sets, and then we would sell the rest, break even, and carry on. So we'd go into like game and pick up a couple of tins, open them for fun. We did used to have a bit of a YouTube channel. I'm not going into that. But yeah, we used to do that, and it's how I built up a lot of my collection. So a lot of my collection is it's a labour of love.
Yeah.
Love. It's a big labour of love.
I see it. That makes sense, because as you mentioned, that's a really good way of kind of recouping some of your money back then, I guess, would be, like you said, buy the collections of people, pick out the ones that you like, and then obviously if you spent £100, you'd want to try and make 50 to 90% back, or whatever you can, the most back you can of the cards that you don't really care about, or you might already have, and then you can find the next collection that might have that card that you need. So that's actually really interesting. I didn't really think that like that was a thing back then. So that's quite cool.
Well, see, not many people really did it. I don't think, like, I'm trying to think back to the 2015 days. It was easy to go on the market, and you knew there was only a couple of other people doing it, because you could get steals at certain times of the days and stuff like that. When I used to work part-time, I'd be off some days. So if I sat on eBay, I knew I'd get a certain amount of deals. You've also got the idea of everyone selling their collections from their childhood didn't really know what they had sometimes.
Yeah.
So you'd pick up deals, whereas today, everyone's heard of Pokemon. So they all think they own a £1 million collection.
It's gone like the other way.
Yeah. So it becomes more difficult. It's something I not struggle with, but it's hard telling other people what the price of their collection's worth, because they all think they're sitting on like a literal gold mine when they're not.
Yeah, people, I think now, especially just using Charizard as an example, like people message and say, I've got this card, I know it's this, and this, and it's like, It's not quite. It's hard to explain to people, like you say, that maybe have a rough idea but don't have a full idea. But because they've seen it in the news and the whole hype blew it up, it's like, how do you try and explain it?
I've literally had an example of that recently. My friend messaged me with a de-evolution spray from Base Set and was like, "How much is this worth?" I was like, £1. And he was like, "Well, this website says it's worth £100." I was like, "Well, that's in a slab, and it's also first edition." And they just don't know, but they see a figure, they see the picture, and they go, "Oh, mine must be worth that then." So, like you mentioned, it like the day we live in, people think they sit on a gold mine when realistically there's so much factors, condition,
50p.
yeah, literally, and it's really, some people get offended by it. Some people are like,
they do.
you're trying to undercut me, and it's like, no,
being rude or something.
You actually don't have what you think you have. So
it's being able to, they're at the end of the day, they're coming to you. For example, myself, I feel like I'm very knowledgeable on prices, on what things are worth, and I give them a fair price, and then they just go, "Well, I'll just stick it on eBay," and that's fine and all, but you'll come to me and you ask for me my opinion on what I can pay you. That's what I can do.
I was gonna say that you're getting an answer.
It's the hardest thing that I find is that a lot of people have collections and then they make you offer on the collections, whereas they don't give you a price.
And they don't like it.
And then they don't like the price you've given them because they think, again, they're sitting on a gold mine. It's the struggles.
If they have a rough figure in their head, just say, "Look, this is what I think it is. You don't offer me X amount." So going back to, you mentioned Art Academies, Gold Stars. Where did that sort of love for those cards start, and why do you collect them, basically?
So Gold Stars started off with, I bought a collection once, and like I was saying, with flipping and doing little bits and bobs here and there, and I picked one up and I was like, that's really cool. And I looked into them and found the rarity. There was one per 2 boxes, 72 packs. Some of them were really playable back in the day, so a lot of them got kind of damaged and they weren't seen very often. So I started picking them up, and this was when, I could pick up a Gold Star for 15, 20, 25 pounds for some of the, and they were like Mudkip and Vaporeons used to come up all the time. I've probably 20, 30 of them in and out of my hands since I've started. And I started collecting them, and I got, I think, about 3/4 of the way through and went, I can't afford this. I think I was left with like the Charizard, the Umbreon, the Espeon, the big ones. And even back then, they were still a couple £100 each, and I was still a student then. So
it was a lot of money.
To be able to afford it and, put that money on at the end of the day, shiny cardboard. It is a lot when you're a student, because you just, you're not rotating the money or anything. So I sold everything. I made about £2-3 on each Gold Star. So I got rid of it all. And then one day again, I decided, you know what? I think I was working part-time. So I thought, I'll give it another go. So over the next 12 to 14 months, I just started picking up Gold Star after Gold Star. And that was my journey, and then it kind of evolved from then. And then I just kind of got into collecting the shiny Pokemon, and up until I think it was the end of Diamond and Pearl. And then Art Academies, I kind of just fell into Art Academies. One day, as I was looking on eBay, I just seen a card and went,
eBay's a dangerous place.
It is a dangerous place. Well, my partner collects Pikachus, and she's an avid Pikachu collector. She's insane about them. And there was a Pikachu, and I went, I've never seen that one before. And I looked at it, and there was an Art Academy little stamp on it. It was from Japan. It was one of the winners. So I did a lot of research, and I found out it was an Art Academy card. There was only 100 pop. So I offered the guy, I think it was something like £115. And he accepted it. I was like, oh.
This is the start.
That was the start. And
he probably had 15 quid in his head.
Like jackpot.
Well, I say £115. I think that was the most I ever spent on a card. I thought, and she'll quote me to this, it's a present. Present for my partner. But so I picked that one up and did more research. And luckily, when I picked it up, I think the Art Academy, obviously, if anyone doesn't know, it's quite in depth. I think it was the 3DS XL on the Art Academy game. There was 2 categories, dress up Pikachu and your favourite Pokemon. You had to draw it with I think it was the stylus pen back then.
Oh, wow.
And you had to draw it on the screen. There was a submission, and there was a competition and entries, and then there was winners. So each of them winners got 100 copies of their card that they drew. So they were really rare, and they had just, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 months since the winners had received their cards, and they were getting posted here and there. And I just dug deep and started finding these winners from Twitter, on Instagram. And I started contacting some of them, and I started picking up one here, one there. But again, they weren't, I say, super cheap, but they were like, for me back then, like £150, £200, quite expensive for a card. You got to think this was, I think, before Pokemon Go. So there's still no really massive hype in Pokemon like there is even then, but like, compared to now. And yeah, I ended up getting, I think it was 3 or 4. And I went, right, I need to stop now. I've spent too much money. So I stopped and then started saving up little bits and bobs and hunting. I think some of the winners took me around like a month, 2 months to find them.
Right,
Just from looking on Twitter, going through like forums, and then contacting them. Some of them didn't speak English. Some of them
and then finally, like, actually having the conversation.
Doing the deal, and doing that. But with Art Academies, for myself, you can buy them on eBay, slabs and everything. But I go directly to the winners, and I buy them from the winners, and I also get them to draw an artwork for me. So it's a one-of-a-kind artwork. So it comes with a bit of a personal message. Usually it's for a gift or a Christmas present for my partner.
Yeah.
So we are like halfies on them.
Right, okay.
It's kind of a gift, and I do the legwork, and she gets the...
That's a really nice... She gets the... No, that's incredible, because there's like a bit of a story behind them as well, which I can understand, like the connection and why you like them.
Is there much of a demand for them? Because like I haven't really heard much about them before. And I get another thing I actually wanted to ask is another reason why you like them, is it because of the chase, as you just mentioned? It's finding the person, contacting them, like there's a whole rather than just going, oh, I can open some packs and then pack it. It's a completely
or buy it on
different
eBay even as well.
Is that a reason why you collect them?
Me as a collector in general, the chase is better than owning the card.
Right.
The amount of times I've been chasing certain cards and I've got them and gone, oh, this is great. And then gone, oh, what can I do now? I have to do something again to chase it. But it is the chase, and it is finding them, and it's like now, I think in the last 2 years I've picked up 2, but it's getting harder and harder to find, and the people who do know just don't want to tell you.
Really?
Yeah.
It's that kind of market, because say they are that rare, and compared to like what you see on eBay and PSA prices, from the winners direct, you do get them a bit cheaper, because it's from the horse's mouth. It's not from a second party who's bought them, and they're doing it to flip in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I do enjoy collecting them. They are fun.
I suppose it gives it, like you say, that chase and that thrill. Because when we had Deep Pocket Monster on, he likes a lot of the Japanese promos, and he likes the stories behind them, and they're not just like easy cards to either pull out of a pack or just pick up online. So that's pretty incredible.
I got another question before I interrupt you. Is that you picked up collections back in the day? How hard is it now to pick up a collection post boom, where there's a lot more eyes on the scene and a lot more people probably doing what you're doing as well?
Yeah, it's a lot harder, and people pay a lot more than the collection's probably worth. But again, I kind of guess that because people then go in this avenue of grading cards, and then you can, if you get a 10 in something, it claws back a lot of the money you put into the collection. So as someone who I like in my Discord, I like to sell raw cards, because it gives the people who collect them for binders a chance to own them. Yeah. A lot of like the older EXs, a lot of them have been graded, so a lot aren't available to just people who want to basically put them in a binder, because binder collections are still a thing. Yeah. It's just not as talked about as much. But it is a lot more difficult, and for me at the minute, it's getting the people reaching out. I'm trying to do all the legwork, but I need people to start reaching out to me. Right. And that's why I'm trying to expand my business, so I'm able to do that.
I was going to say, how has that affected your business, like post boom? Like, obviously it's a lot harder now. I guess it's kind of it's swings and roundabouts, in the sense of there's probably more people that have collections that they're willing to sell now, because they know that there's money in there. But at the same time, there's more people doing it. So how has your business, like, what have you faced post and pre boom? Has there been any massive changes?
Again, it's just the availability. I think because a lot more people are trying to do a business as similar as what I'm doing. They bid stuff up, and that means my margins that I work to, which are quite strict margins, it means I can't buy stuff. Back in 2016-17, I could spend a day on eBay and more than likely pick up a couple of collections and know that I'll do, well off them.
Yeah, fairly decent.
Whereas now, if I pick up one a week, a good one that just keeps me going and gets new stock in, then I'm happy with that. Yeah. But I've just got to think a little bit outside the box. Sometimes I'm trying to pick up like slabs that I can kind of just flip. I'm trying to look at other avenues. I know I've started looking at people who play in the TCG and cards that they own, because I know there's quite a high demand on that.
Yeah.
So again, I'm trying to reach into different avenues where I haven't explored before, because I know there is a market for every type of card, and them especially I think are a little bit overlooked. So say I picked up a collection not too long ago and it had a load of playmats in, but some of the playmats you're like £100, £115, and it all soon's up. You just got to be a bit more inventive. It can't just be cards all the time. It's got to be other, even Pokemon merchandise, because again, people like owning merch for displays, for the bedrooms, little things like that. Just you just got to be a bit more inventive than you could have been back then, where it was just solely I'll buy a card or sell a card.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And talking about picking up collections and obviously buying products, etc., you're on eBay. We've just got back from America, and it was a great trip. We picked up loads of fun stuff. But while we were out there, we experienced the whole walking into a card store and just being able to pick up product that we just would not find here. I mean,
it was crazy.
It was, a very surreal experience.
Eye-opening.
Yeah, and expensive. So with regards to when you're buying and you use eBay a lot, do you deal with a lot of people like overseas? Do you buy from the States? Like, how does that work for you?
See, I used to buy more from the States a couple of years ago.
Right.
I think maybe because of the imports and people were a bit more lenient about the import charges when they came in. But I have a few people on my Discord. I'm going to give them a shout out, Austin.
What's up, Austin?
Yo.
Shout out to Austin.
He does buy, he kind of middlemans a little bit for me. And
right,
we do trades where he'll buy me product over there and I get a lot more for my money over there. Like, obviously, you'll know.
Yeah.
Than
Experience
you do here.
that.
Like, the two markets are on different platforms. It's crazy. And when you try and explain to someone that a card in America is like near enough £20 cheaper than it is over here, it's hard. But then again, like we were saying earlier, it's just different avenues for my business as well, because if I can get stuff in America sent back over and still sell it at a good price, then it works fine.
It works well for you.
Do you have many like contacts that you deal with often? So obviously you just mentioned Austin. Do you find that you're going to have to start building up like a client base of people that may get things coming through them quite often, and then you can kind of just work with them?
I think so. Something I definitely want to branch out in. Obviously, I'm relatively early in business kind of age-wise. I'm only 7 months in, and there's a few more things I want to tick off the bucket list first. Obviously, some card shows that I imagine we might go into a bit later.
Yeah.
But it's something I do want to reach out in. And the funny thing was, 2016ish, there's a lot of American collectors I used to talk to. I'm in connection with a few of them now, but not as many as I used to be 4 or 5 years ago. A lot of people have rotated out of the hobby, or
I was going to say, what are the reasons?
They're just rotating out of the hobby, and some people have left the hobby mainly because of how it was in the hype.
Right, okay.
It affected a lot of people.
Push people out.
Yeah, it did. Especially the older collectors who, say, we used to just grade him whenever they wanted to.
I mean, it did get out of control, so it spiraled into something people probably didn't expect.
Yeah.
I mean,
that is crazy.
It is crazy. Like, you don't really hear about those things either, about how people are priced out of collecting, which is like,
I think the pricing out is a big thing as well.
Yeah, like they absolutely have loved collecting all their life, and now it's got to a point where it's just not physically possible, and some people don't realize that until it's like quite late, where they end up in a bit of trouble. So it's definitely a serious issue that maybe we should talk about in the future.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you were saying, obviously, you're fairly new with the whole business side of things. Do you have specific goals for your business, either, this year or in general, and also personal goals? Because obviously business and personal are very separate things.
Well, business wise, I want to kind of get a foundation and feel comfortable in my first year.
Right.
Towards the end of the year, say we've got the Cardiff Card Show.
Yeah.
which I've got a table
forward
at.
to that.
Yeah, that's going to be really good. I also in Anime and Gaming Con in Liverpool.
Okay.
And then next year, I think I'm going to try and push for as many card shows as I can physically do.
Yeah.
And expand my reach that way as well.
Right. Okay.
Personal wise, whenever I find an art academy,
Right.
that's it. That's literally it. Or I would like to get another set of gold stars. It's just finding them is the. I always keep myself that I never, instead of one copy of everything, I didn't buy two.
Like pushed it further back.
I could have as well. I just
chose not to.
Yeah, just chose not.
Would you
to.
want to get those raw? I assume.
Yeah, it'd be raw again. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And obviously, I think we've both experienced it. Personal goals and collecting sometimes gets pushed to the side a bit when you've got a business. So do you feel like that's happened with your collection and what you're buying?
It always takes a backseat, and the thing with being a Pokemon business, you can't be attached to anything.
Yeah.
No.
There's so many cards that I've had in my possession in the last 6 months that I've gone, a couple of years ago I would have kept that and just broke even, but it's just not. When you're paying for your mortgage, your bills, everything else.
Exactly.
You can't afford. You just can't afford to do it.
Yeah. No, you've got to keep.
Yeah.
It is very, very difficult. Running. It's very difficult to detach yourself because I know for a fact that I am so
you
attached to my cards.
You are one of the worst that I know.
I need to sell some stuff which would help buy other stuff, but I'm like, but I'll pack that, or like I
like that.
Yeah, I like that, and it's just like it has no real relevance to me. Like I guess it's a lot easier for you because, like you said, your main goal is the art academies, whereas anything else doesn't really matter to you. For me, I'm just like, I like that.
You like everything.
That. Yeah,
and
so
it's just like you got to be a bit more brutal.
Yeah, you literally do. But I think it's something you can kind of learn to do, and I think with stuff that we're in, we kind of have to do it. Otherwise,
I think with our, especially like our business model as such, if you want to call it that, with the streaming, we are buying stuff a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So, you can't hold on to it. You've got to open it for someone.
Literally.
You just show, here's the sealed pack on stream. You can't have it though. Like,
yeah, literally like, do you really want it? Do you really want it?
Yeah, you've just got to, I suppose it depends. Like obviously yours is a little bit different. Yours is more building that base, and maybe have, get to all the card shows and maybe have a small store or something like that in the future.
So going to the card shows, is that just to network, or is that to have a stall to sell, or is that to find people to buy stuff off of?
So it's networking, number one, but again, it's to get myself out there a little bit. I've got a nice little Discord community that we're growing. We're nearly on 100 members, and it's very nice. People come to me. We do quite a lot of business for it, but then it's a lot of fun on the side, like because you've jumped in before.
Yeah.
The shows is something I'd like to do. It's something that I wish I'd got back into, say early 2016. I had a chance to go to the MCMs and have a table there when there was only really one or two other Pokemon vendors, and I missed out, and then I kind of lost enthusiasm for it. It was a bit of a kick, and I kind of gave up where I should have gone, right, I'm going to try, I'm going to get one and then go from there. So this time I'm going to try, I'm going to succeed. That's the idea.
Yeah, and I mean, from what we've experienced this year, I'm guessing when this comes out, it's been a little while since, but we recently went to the London Card Show. Which is really, really good. I went to the one in January, which I think I've spoke about on the podcast before.
I missed the one in January because I was...
in America.
Yeah, I think it was the day I got back or something. I was really, really impressed.
Yeah.
Really impressed.
Well, I experienced the difference between the first one and the second one.
Yeah.
And it was worlds apart. And we had a lot of fun. We went there. And if it keeps growing in that rate, I think that next year we could have some really cool card shows. Like we mentioned Cardiff that we're going to. Obviously, I think that's the first one that's ever happened for Cardiff.
I believe it's a new...
Yeah, it's a new event. So hopefully more of these type of events will pop up, and the amount of Pokemon that is going is actually increasing as well. So it's really, really cool, and it is a really good way to meet. Like I've met a few people in both of them. So the first one I went to, I saw people that came to the one that we just went to, and it was like, oh, how's it going? Like I saw you in the last one. Hope you're doing well. Have you added anything? Are you getting anything? Blah blah blah. Like you can find these people that are so like-minded, and they might even be able to help you out with like certain deals, or they might say, hey, I've got this collection that I don't really want, and that might be something that you could work with, which is really cool.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the London Card Show, and I just felt like I didn't know what to expect. Obviously, you'd been to the first one. Obviously, it was a bit smaller, but the amount of Pokemon that was there and the amount of people that turned up as well, whether they were just there to, you know, like meet people, like, you know, do a bit of networking, trade, not necessarily buy too much. I just feel like it was nice for like-minded people in the hobby to all get together for the day, and that's why I'm really looking forward to the Cardiff one, to meet more people from the community that watch our channels as well. Like, that's the main thing. Obviously we're so used to just streaming and seeing all your names pop up in an online chat. It's so different actually meeting people in person,
putting a face to a name.
And I mean, you can then build relationships and end up, you know, I don't know, it just leads to so many more things, whereas I feel like you're quite limited on, like, you know, to a point. And if you're trying to run a business as well, it's great because you get the feelers, and then you get I think the thing is, like you say, the first London card show was sort of smaller than this one, but everything has to start somewhere. And with Cardiff, you know, everyone has to do their first event, and then you can grow it from there. And I feel like you say in a year's time, I think we could be looking at some really big card shows in the UK, which I think is great.
With a lot of Pokemon influence. But also these shows will be very vital for you because your main thing is selling cards. On selling cards through online means is risky, but obviously not for you because you're legit, but you can come across many scary things. But with the card shows, you're there in person. The person who is looking for these cards can actually physically see them in front of them. And it's just that extra reassurance where I feel like you're gonna have that, like, more willingness to buy a card if it's right in front of you.
Makes people comfortable with you as a seller as well. And even
putting a face to the name.
And even having a buyer that you're then comfortable, because again, it works both ways. You can sell online and people can be wary of you, but buyers sometimes you need to be a bit wary of, because it might, you know, not turn out what it
I've had that in the past where people have come
scamming
to
or whatever.
With collections, and they expect you to pay friends or family or that, like,
no, of course.
And you're like, well, that's great and all, but I don't know you. It's like, I can't afford to send you £1,000 and you
just lose it.
And just disappear off the face of the planet. You can't afford it. And it's hard to tell people, but this is my business, I do it full time, I'm not gonna, you know, ruin my reputation over £1,000.
No, exactly.
It's just not worth it. But telling people that who don't really know the hobby,
side of it,
it's hard. But then again, if you have a brick and mortar, or you have something behind you, or you even like doing the card shows and your name gets put around here and there, it just makes it a little bit easier again, so people
and
will,
you get to know people as well.
Basically.
So another thing that's happening this year, kind of, you know, card show, getting everyone together related, we've got Worlds, and it's happening in London, which I'm really excited about. Is that something you're planning on going to?
It is, yes. I'm not sure how many days yet, what days, but it's something that not only me but everyone in my community, your community, everyone, Dean's community, everyone's kind of gone, we'll make that a good event, and we'll all go and meet up, and it's going to be a kind of the meet up before Cardiff as well, which is going to be
because it's very close to Cardiff, isn't it? And I feel like we need to take advantage of the opportunity of it being on our doorstep as well. You know,
hopefully there's some really unique stuff that will be exclusive to this event.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Because obviously, it being in London, it's a lot easier for European play or European people to go to this one than it would be, say, America. So hopefully we kind of get our, I know it's a little bit selfish thinking, but hopefully, like, we kind of get our little moment where we can get something really, really cool that is a little bit harder.
We're special for once.
So I'm very much looking forward to it. And another thing that would be pretty useful for you is that you might be able to potentially pick up some of the player cards, which trophy cards, which players get who participate into the actual TCG tournament.
Start spending the big bucks.
Which try to anyway.
Which are very, very sought after cards because they are so rare. And they are awesome as well. You actually showed me some of the ones you have.
Some of the Champions Festival ones. I picked up them a couple of days ago now, and just even like artworks like that, I just think there's something different.
I'm very jealous. I want the 2018 or 16 one, the one with the Bulbasaur, Charmander and Squirrels.
Maybe we can do a deal.
You give it to me for free. The thing I didn't realize about them is that they are. Does everyone get one in every single language, or is it just what country you come from? Do you know that at all? Because you have many in different languages.
See, I'm going to be honest, I don't know. I think you get given one at certain events, and I know the Worlds you'll get one, and then you obviously get ones that are seeded.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen like I think it's the 64,
Rounders 32, 16,
yeah, and then
yeah.
16, and so. But again, it's still a little bit even new for me, so I'm not massively sure who gets what cards. Just luckily, the person that I bought this little collection off
had them.
Yeah, he's been playing in a lot of the Worlds previous to obviously the lockdowns and everything. So he might have gone to all the events. I wasn't too sure.
I mean, they might have traded with
ones.
They
might have done, because he might.
You know how like footballers swap shirts?
Yeah.
They trade their cards.
I didn't. Did they really?
Footballers swap shirts.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, no. At the end of the game, they swap shirts just as like a memento.
Hold on, is this a serious?
I'm being serious. I'm being
serious.
serious. They swap shirts.
What's the
because
context behind that?
It's like we played against each other. This is like a memento to say like when you look back in your
and then the club just gives them another shirt.
They don't wear the same kit. Right, no. Okay, we're not doing this.
Wait, hold on.
We're not doing it.
Every game they get a new shirt. They don't go home and wash their kit.
Yeah. Sometimes twice a game they get twice a game.
All right, but anyway, that's a different story because I feel like the comment section is going to blow
my
up.
hair represents what my brain feels like right now.
But how hard is it? You mentioned you met someone or you've got in contact with someone who had these cards. How hard is it to kind of get in contact with these people?
Well, to be honest, this was a little bit of luck. This was just eBay searching and picking up on the right kind of signals. So I noticed they had a few champion playmats, which obviously you only get if you're a champion.
Yeah.
Unless, you bought it previously. But I reached out to him and said, have you got any other cards? And he was like, well, yeah, I have some. Some aren't listed on eBay, and sent me some pictures. Managed to do the deal outside of eBay, which is even better.
Yeah.
And that's another like new contact I can come to again and again. And I know he's going to Worlds, so hopefully I can keep in contact with him, and hopefully he does well in Worlds. Means I can
that's the main.
Yeah, means
please win it. Please win it. Please win it.
Again, another woman that I've just started talking to is staff at a lot of the events.
Oh wow!
So I'm actually getting like a big price list and pictures of all the staff cards for the last, I think from like 2016 to 2020.
Do they have the Evo Charizard stuff?
No, I think they might have sold some of them. I did see it on the bane of my life, eBay recent sold, and they'd sold it previously.
Oh wow!
But I know they do have some like really expensive staff cards that, again, it's something different and a bit like unique. That it's like more of a niche, but it's cool to collect. It's something a bit different than just the modern stuff that everyone else kind of goes for. And
I think they've also got more popular in the because Pokemon announced that they're indefinitely stopped doing staff cards, so they might come back to it, but at the moment
big chase for them.
They are no longer doing staff cards, and I think the last one was the Vivid Voltage Charizard, if I remember rightly. I think that Vivid Voltage might have been the last set, which has that Charizard, so I know that one goes for a lot of money. But yeah, staff cards are really, really cool. There's also like judge cards, I believe. Do they still do judge cards?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think this is where I'm gonna get flamed in the comment section, but I feel like they did do judge cards, but I could be wrong. There are so many niche cards which are really cool. And has the person that you come in contact with, have they said that they would sell you their card at Worlds if they get far, or is that not a conversation you've had yet?
Not just yet. It'll be something I will be mentioning when we get along the lines, but it'd be nice to meet him in person anyway, and you introduce yourself, because again, putting a face to the name and being bubbly and friendly always helps a little bit. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Is that something where you in your head you're thinking I must have that card, or have you got like, right, I've got a budget in my head, if it goes over that then I'm not going to push for it?
It depends what the market is for the card. Again, the staff cards are a lot of the business side of me coming out, so I know that even if I buy a staff card and then sit on it for a little bit, in a couple of years' time, in the next few Worlds, it'd be worth a little bit more again. Again, staff cards might be something I look to maybe get graded. They're a little bit different, and obviously the pop's quite low on them. I think pop's quite a big thing that relates to me with maybe grading. I'd rather grade lower pop things and stuff that's been graded over and over and over again, because it just doesn't have that, I don't know, elusiveness, maybe, if it's the right word. But yeah, it'd be nice. Maybe.
I think I'm mixing up my TCGs as well. I think it's Dragon Ball that has judge cards, but
I've
got too many TCGs
it's too
in my
late.
head.
It is so late when we are filming this right now.
Yeah, but there might be. I actually think I've mixed my TCGs up there, but it's so crazy how there are just so many little niche cards that not a lot of people know about.
Yeah.
Like, it is really, really cool when you find these cards. Obviously, we mentioned with Pat, he likes the cards with the lure. I'm very much the same, and I know PokeRev is as well. We were speaking about the Pokemon Snap contest cards back in the day. They are a card I would absolutely love. It's almost impossible. Like, that's the thing.
You gotta have a lot of money in the bank.
It's the ones that you want are just so out of sight. Yeah. It's just like you literally would almost just they just have to fall into your hand, and then you're like, oh, cool.
I'd say that.
But is there any goal cards you have at the moment that you? Well, there's two questions really. Is there any cards that you are trying to get in at the moment, or what was the hardest card that you found to let go?
Oh, so my biggest chase card is an Art Academy card, and it's the Space Pikachu. I can't remember exactly the name of the artist, which I should do, but it's like Pikachu in space in a spacesuit. It's like super cute. There's not many of them, and the seller I know has sold quite a few copies. I think SM Prot has a couple of copies. There's a few other UK collectors who have copies, and I think they stopped selling them at one point. But if I can find that connection and reach out, like some of them, I know the Kecleon, which is somewhere in front of me. This one, the Kecleon. That one took me about a year to get from the.
Oh wow!
Really?
Okay.
It's like on a fall. From the winner, so it was a lot of back and forth. I think it's more of like a trust thing as well, because they've been. You'll find that a lot of them have been kind of took advantage of. So people would have bought cards, graded them, flipped them, and you know, if you buy a card, it's yours to do whatever you want. That's fine. But it was the winners' cards, and then they kind of made a lot. It's
quite insulting.
Yeah, it is. It's why I've never sold one. I don't think it's the hardest thing I'll ever feel to let go. When I have to let go, it's like getting rid of a kid or something.
A child.
It'd be so difficult. But yeah, the Space Mew, if I can find that connection, would be absolutely amazing. The biggest regret, I'd have to go back to probably two actually, 2017, 18. So my partner bought me a Gold Star Japanese Rayquaza for £50 off eBay in near
What?
And me being me thought, you know what? I had about 6 or 7 Japanese Gold Stars. I thought, I'm not really into Japanese Gold Stars. So I sold it for £150. I don't know what that is raw. It's probably a couple of thousand now. The second is one I got kind of back into the hobby for a couple of months. I sold a Crystal Lugia. I think I only paid maybe £30-40 for it at one point. Put it on Instagram. I think it sold within a couple of hours. I think I got 170 for it, and it was, you know, I'm not a grader, but PSA 8, PSA 9. It was clean, and I do regret getting rid of them heavily. But again, goodness. I know it.
I mean, hindsight is it's a great thing.
If you didn't sell it, you wouldn't be where you are right now. That's what you have to keep saying to yourself.
Well, there's a lot of things with hindsight which I thought. Yeah, I missed out on first edition Charizards, where I went, do you know what? I'll buy a better copy, and just didn't buy one altogether.
I'll wait a couple of years on that one.
I passed on 2 that were offered to me before I stopped collecting. I think it was just before Sun and Moon. I think they were both. He wanted £600 for both of them. He graded one as a PSA 3, one as a PSA 5, and then sold them both for about, I think it was 9,000 in the middle of the hype. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah,
my goodness.
Yeah, hindsight.
It's just the whole looking back.
Yeah.
I think no one expected it to turn into what it did, and then if you were a collector, getting offered those things at those prices beforehand, I mean, so that's painful.
How often does the Art Academy contest go? Is it yearly or is it?
No, the Art Academy's a one of a kind.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So
what's the latest thing? There's a new contest.
There's a new contest, but it's not, as far as I'm aware, it's not. It's like, have you seen the Charizard and Gardevoir a couple of years back? The Japanese promos. They're like, the winner gets the card printed, but it's mass produced. It's not at a really low print run.
Right.
I think that's the difference. The only thing that you can kind of compare Art Academies is there's a Zoroark competition. You might have seen them. It was like kids drawings.
Oh yeah.
There's a few on, they pop here and there, and there was the same. I think there's like a Pichu and Arceus set a year before. I can't remember exactly what they were from, but they're the only thing that's kind of relatable. I think there's 100 copies of each of them as well.
Oh sweet, Pikachu and Arceus.
Yeah,
that sounds cool.
Yeah.
I know someone who definitely is
I was
probably
going
going
to
to try
say,
and collect
you
that.
need to sell a few things first before you go down that rabbit hole.
Oh god, yeah. Does anyone want some rainbow rares?
Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's all about the chase, I suppose,
Yeah,
with a
it
lot of
is,
those cards, and they're incredible. It's nothing I've ever dipped into, and I think personal collection for me definitely slows down, and business overtakes it. I know as well. Is it the same with you? You're just going to slip away over there. Do you have any other questions for Sam?
I'm just fascinated on like what do you, I guess with your business, do you see it, how do you see it going in the next maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? Do you think it's gonna get easier? Do you think it's gonna get harder? Like, do you have a plan? Obviously you might not want to
what's your business plan?
Yeah.
What's the plan?
But like, how do you see, now we are post 25th anniversary, because I said this to some other people, is that we're now kind of off the massive hype of the 25th anniversary. I mean, we had Logan Paul with his amazing first edition box break. We then had some incredible sets such as Shining Fates. We had celebrations. It's been an incredible 2021 for Pokemon. And we started off pretty well in 2022, but we can't predict what is going to happen now. No. There might be a lull. There might be people that kind of don't really want to keep staying into Pokemon. Like, how do you see your business evolving post? Would you say we're in the post boom? Like, are we still in a boom? What do you guys think?
I think we're definitely on a come down.
I'd say post boom.
Yeah.
We're slowly sloping down. But then some things are going up. I think we talked earlier about like VMAXs from Evolving Skies, the alt arts. Like the Umbreon and the Rayquaza, they're just shot up. It's crazy. But for me personally, I think you'll see a lot more modern, like say Sword and Shield onward collections come up for sale on eBay. People trying to recoup money. You got to think as well, bills have all gone up. Utilities have gone up. People aren't going to be able to just sit on £1,000 worth of Pokemon cards and be like, comfortable with it. So the business like model for me, I think I've always said I'd love to own my own little brick and mortar, something I can kind of have base operations out of. But I'd like to go to every trade event that I could go to as well. That'd be like a big thing. And just dip out and see how it goes. But say it's a year, 2 year, just get going. And obviously, I don't do much sealed stuff at the minute, but I'd like to get into doing sealed here and there, even obviously for the shop, for the the tables at the events and that. It's always needed having sealed stuff. Like I do pick bits and bobs here and there up, but it's not as much as I'd probably need. But yeah, I think I'm pretty confident.
Yeah.
Comfortable and confident.
Comfortable and confident. That I can do it. I'm passionate about Pokemon. I think that's the main thing. Just be passionate about it, and it's not all about the money. It's about enjoying what you're doing. Every day I get up and I go, I really enjoy what I'm doing.
I think when you stop enjoying it, then it starts to become a bit of an issue.
Definitely.
Do you think it's like trying to pick up now cards that people may come back to? You mentioned alt arts. Like, do you think maybe now's a good time to maybe try and buy some of the alt arts that are a little bit cheaper? For then in maybe 2, 3, 4 years, people might go, oh, do you remember Sword and Shield era where they had all these alt arts? I really want them again. And now you're kind of like, oh, brilliant. Well, I've managed to pick them up at a cheap price. Now I can sell them, sort of thing.
Well, it's something I've mentioned in my own Discord quite frequently. I've said that the alt arts are the closest thing I can remember to Gold Stars. Gold Stars were like completely different. The Pokemon was out of the box. And alt arts are kind of similar. There's something that no one's seen before, and they're super popular. I know Dean Hunter in the Discord, he's going for every single alt art that was released, and I think he's 8 away at this time of recording.
Is this during the Sword and Shield era?
And Sun and Moon.
Oh, right, okay.
And he loves the artworks, and I think, don't take my word, but alt arts would be something good if you could pick them up cheap enough. In a couple of years' time, it would be a really nice set to complete. Even as a binder set, having every single alt
as
art
a binder, that would
really
be incredible.
Cool.
Yeah,
It'd be really cool.
I really like alt arts. I think they are the new Rainbow Rare. I think that I wouldn't even be upset if Rainbow Rares stopped after the Sword and Shield era. I think they've had their moment.
I think you overdo anything too much, people start to, it gets saturated, and it's like, right, we've had our fair share.
Yeah.
It's nice for the focus to maybe push on.
I feel like they're a bit of a not cop out, but like at least with all arts you get something different.
Yeah.
Like
There's a lot
rainbow rares are
it.
just a different color, but it's the same card. At all art you actually get like I always see them as like a story in that picture.
No, they are incredible.
Which is why I really appreciate them. So yeah, I mean, picking up a complete all art set in the future would be really,
I think
really
that would
cool.
be a big thing.
Just having it, like, I say it again, Dean shows his binder at least 4 times a day. He's super proud
Dean's
of it.
gonna love this. Shout out.
He's gonna love it.
Shout
I did
out,
say I'd
Dean.
give him one. He's not gonna sort my bulk otherwise. But
Bribery.
Yeah. But it does look really good on the binder. Like
it'll be a very nice binder to have further down the line.
I think we've asked this in the past though. Do you see Pokemon doing anything out of the box or new? Like obviously in different TCGs and like even in tops and stuff like that, you have like 1 out of 10.
Yes, like
do you think that there's going to be a new type of card at some point that we've never seen before?
I don't know. I think they've had the opportunity to do it and they never have. Like we don't really even know. I say a lot of other things that are seed. Do you know how many there is of that one card? If you were to ask someone how many, I don't know, Umbreon VMAXs there are in the world, you
wouldn't be able to say.
It's anyone's guess.
You'd never know.
Yeah, exactly. You'll never know. So I don't know. I don't know if they'd come off what they've been doing for so many years and try something different. Maybe, but I can't see it.
We spoke.
If it's not broken.
Well, we spoke to PokeRev about it, and he said that well, there's 2 things we need to take into consideration. It's a game. Pokemon is a trading card game, so it would automatically not work for that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think the only other way that would work is if Pokemon collabed with the likes of Topps or maybe like outside or like a third party company or something. Which I don't know. I mean, I'm not too bothered. I think it would just benefit collectors where it is mainly a playing game. So I don't know. I would love to see
2 sides to it.
Yeah, I'd love to see something completely new. It's just like I can't like imagine what it would be yet.
Well, I think you compared to like new TCGs that come out, they're all based at the collectors, but they're not as the players. And that's why I think Pokemon's got kind of a nice balance at the minute. TCG's getting back into it, and so there's a lot of people who are playing the TCG, whether that be online or actually starting to go to like mini events around their like area. Yeah. But they've also got like the really hardcore collectors as well that collect all the Sword and Shield sets. Trying to master set everything, or people who just collect cards they like. It's like a nice kind of mix at the minute. I think to even think about trying to change what's kind of good, and I think what they know Pokemon themselves have got going for them.
They ruin.
Would they risk it? Because again, they've got a really nice balance. I think at the minute, definitely.
And it works well.
Yeah, definitely.
I did just have an idea. And I think there's been this is a serious one. This is a serious one. I think that there's been a lot more appreciation of the illustrators in the last couple of years. Maybe I've just been blind to it, but maybe Pokemon do a card of a character or a Pokemon with the illustrator's signature on it. Yeah, that would be sick.
Again, that could work if it wasn't.
Sorry, that took me like a couple of seconds to compute there.
Well, I'm sure. Is it Neopets?
Dragon Ball did it. They did the voice actor's signature on it.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure it was Neopets when they had like a card game. They had the artist actually draw on the card of the...
Love Neopets.
The character. And they were like really rare to get. I've been told, I've seen.
I think that'd be sick. Imagine just seeing the illustrator's signature like...
in
like worked into the artwork of the Pokemon or something. I think that's... Hey, Pokemon, if you want to take that, that's a freebie from me.
Ideas out here.
That's a freebie from me.
Actually,
I shouldn't say that's not a freebie from me. I'll give me 10%.
Commission on that.
No, that would be sick. I think that'd be sick.
It would be.
I think that'd be so cool.
And there's something I want to touch on before we close up. We've got some items in front of you here, and I feel like we need to show these to the camera because these are.
You might want to explain what they are.
And tell us what they are.
Obviously, I was explaining earlier with the art academies. Each of them we got a drawing done for each one.
Good idea.
So like just to make it a bit more personal, it's not just card, then there's a bit of a story behind it. So
I like that.
I've just got 2 in front of me here, and hopefully I'll pick up the right one. So we've got this one here, which is the Kecleon. So this was the winner called Scarlet. She designed this one as a small commission. She is actually a designer.
Oh, sweet.
Okay.
So again, that's why it took quite a bit longer than usual, because I was like, could you please just do this? Could you add the Pikachu? Pikachu's Lottie's favourite, which is my partner's Pokemon. Mew's my favourite Pokemon.
That's sick.
Oh, so it's really nice.
It's a custom, again, it's a one of one. So it kind of goes with the card.
It's such a great idea as well, like adding that into it.
And then this one was the second to last Art Academy we got. So this one was from Lana, a Spanish winner. And I think this says Merry Christmas. I hope it does. But this is part of like a Christmas present to my partner. And she drew artwork, which is my partner holding a Pikachu in like the style of the card, which I should be able to show here.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, that's
so
amazing.
Cool.
I need my husband to take note of this. He's going to start panicking now. That's incredible. I just wanted people to know what we had in front of you there, because you touched on it earlier. But yeah, I think it's been great having you on.
Honestly, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you for coming down and obviously being our first in-person guest. You take the crown with that.
And genuinely check out Sam. He might have some stuff that you might need.
Do you want to tell everyone what your Instagram is?
So my Instagram is just Chibi Collectibles.
We'll link it below as well.
We'll do the link. I've obviously have an eBay page where I sell a lot of my singles. Obviously, I do stuff outside of eBay. I have my own Discord, which I'm slowly growing. I want to make it very community based and UK community based, because I think that's something we lack a lot. Yeah. Compared to especially what like the US have. It's all community. Everyone gets together. They do their things. Just feel we lack that a little bit in the UK, and it's something I want to not impose on people, but get everyone interested.
Try and get people involved.
But obviously, like we spoke about, the more events and the bigger card shows, why not give it a go? Why not all meet at one night and crack open a load of packs and have like a fun night and enjoy it? Why not? So so I have a Discord, so I will link that as
Make sure
well.
you check Sam out. We'll put all his details in the description below. And I think we might actually end up doing some content maybe on either one or two of our channels as well.
Yeah. Let us know your thoughts down below in the comment section, guys, of what you thought of the episode. We'd love to read all your comments. And once again, Sam, really appreciate you coming all the way from Liverpool.
Not a problem.
Guys, be sure to smash that like button if you have enjoyed this episode of the Pokey Podcast.
And subscribe.
I've been Pokey Dean.
I've been Pokey Chloe.
And we will see you in the next episode. But until then, goodbye.
Bye, guys.